You've probably seen JavaScript code like this. But what exactly is const? Why do developers use let? And what happened to var? In this video, we are going to break down JavaScript variables and finally make sense of var, let, and const. A variable is simply a way to store information so we can use that information later in our program. Think of it like a labeled box, okay? Let's say this is a labeled box. The label is name and the information inside the box is Willz. Let's console log name and let's see what happens. You see we have Willz. We say let age 25. Let here tells JavaScript we are creating a variable, while the age is the name we are giving the variable. This equal to sign here, this is the assignment operator. It means we are putting a value into the variable. Y25 here is the value we are storing. Okay, so remember, let's create the value, age, the value name, the equal to is assign the value, which is 25. Let's do console.log and we say name. Now, instead of writing the same information, we can store it once and reuse it. But sometimes the information needs to change. And let's say age. When we console.log age, we get 25. At the down of it, let's say age 26. Now let's see again. You see, we get 26. We first created age with let, which is 25, and later we changed the value to 26. Now you can see when changing the value, we didn't use the let again. Okay, we only use let once, and then we can change the value. We can still do again age 27, and when we run it, you can see we get the latest 27. Now next, to talk about const. Const is also used to create a variable, but there's an important difference. Okay, now we can just do over here, we just say country Ghana. If we check it, you can see there's an error because a variable created with const cannot be reassigned with another value. This is the most important part. Now that I've explained const, you can see the difference between let and const. Okay, now let me explain better the differences between let and const. You can see over here we say let age 25 and we just say age 26. It works. But when we do const country Nigeria and we do country Ghana, it did not work because with let values can be reassigned, but with const value cannot be reassigned. So how do we know which one to use when writing a code? Always use let when you know the value we need to change. For example, let me take all these out. We say let score. The first score is 10. The team got another score. You add the score to 20. For the game end, the team score again and the score changed to 30. You can see with let we can keep updating and so on and so on and so on and so on. Okay. Another example, we can say let age 20 and let count 0 and let username Willz. Okay. The important part isn't the type of data. The important question is, will I need to reassign this value later? If yes, use let. Use const when you don't need to reassign the variables. You can do const here, const country, Nigeria, const website. We have Willz Labs. If you don't need to change the variables later, const is usually the better choice. You can see here, if we don't need to change this later in our code, const is the better choice. Okay. Now, var is another way of declaring variable. Truth be told, nowadays people don't use var. You only see var in old JavaScript codes. You can do var wheels, and you can say var age. You can do 25. Just like let, var allows the value to be reassigned. There are technical differences between var and let, especially around something called scope. We will cover scope later when you have a stronger JavaScript foundation. So for now, we'll just let it be. Var is an old way, we don't really need it. While let can change value and const can't reassign a value. The rules I want you to remember is when writing modern JavaScript, you will usually use const and let. Whenever you are writing a variable that might be reassigned later, you use let. But when you don't need to reassign the variable, you use const. Var is still important to recognize, but you generally won't need it when writing modern JavaScript. Now let's put everything together. Let's do const name, and the name is Willz, and we do const country, Nigeria, and then we say let's score, and we say 0, and here we say score, we give it a 10, and that score, we give it a 20. Now let's console log name. Now I'm just going to do this, and we change this to country, and we change this to score. Now let's run it and see what we get. You can see we have Wales, Nigeria, 20. You can see the 20, it did not use this, it did not use this, it uses this because it's reassigned. You can see the name doesn't need to change, so we use const because my name is always going to be Wales. And the country doesn't need to change because I'm always going to be a Nigerian. But the score changes, so we use let. So as a beginner, you should be able to understand the differences between const, let, and var. Now I have a mini challenge for you. I always give challenge to help you test what you've learned. Const John, and let the score be 0 and 50. And here we say country, Nigeria. Now here in the name John, should this be let or const? Now the second here say, why do we use let for the score? While my question 3 is, what happens when we run this code? Will it change to Ghana or will it remain in Nigeria? Pause the video, put your answers in the comment section. I'll see you in the solution. We use const here because the name will not be reassigned. Okay, we don't want to reassign this name anywhere in this code again. So the name is John. And the score we use let because we can keep changing it. We can change the score to 100. Okay, and lastly, if we run this code here, we are not going to get Ghana. Okay, we are not going to get it because we use const. If we want to reassign it, we are supposed to use let, but because it's const, it will not reassign. Okay, so we is either if we want to reassign it, we use let. All right, so if you're able to solve this, kudos to you. But if you were not able to solve this, I hope this solution video helped you understand. Now, quick recap. A variable stores information that we can use later. Use let when you need to reassign the value. Use const when you don't need to reassign the value. While var is an older way of declaring variables and is mostly something you need to understand when reading older JavaScript. Understand? Not for writing. You are only using it to understand when reading old JavaScript. Okay? And this is variable in JavaScript. You now understand what variables are, how let, const, and var work, and most important, when to use each one. If this video helped you understand JavaScript better, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Willz Lab. We are building our JavaScript knowledge one step at a time. Remember, every expert developer was once a beginner, so keep learning, keep building, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.